Don't go for holiday homes like Langkawi or Genting or some other areas that just mainly focuses on vacation, because when COVID hits, right, really will affect our income, and there are a lot of lelong properties that happen during COVID period, all because of they buy vacation properties or holiday homes. Hi guys, my name is Dylan. So today we'll be talking about how to buy a rental property as a beginner. So we have seen a lot of videos or a lot of gurus online that teaches people how to invest in rental properties, there are a few steps and etc. So today I've come up with my own 4 major steps to invest in a rental property as a beginner. So the first step that we have to understand is actually there are 2 ways of investing for properties. The first way will be Airbnb. Airbnb is basically short-term rental where people come and stay for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days or 5 days, etc. So Airbnb is more like a hotel concept, but it's staying in a condo. And the other method will be long-term rental. Long-term rental is the typical traditional way of investing where you rent out this house or this room to a particular tenant. So this tenant can be renting for 1 year, 1.5 years, 2 years, and etc. So generally, it will be a longer term of rental. There are some differences between Airbnb and long-term rental. So in terms of ROI wise, right, Airbnb will be better because per night, let's say you rent a hotel room, per night is going for maybe 200 ringgit, 300 ringgit per night. Same goes for Airbnb, it will be that amount of money. But the occupancy may not be stable. For example, in a month, the occupancy can only be around 50%, 70%, 80%. It depends on how you market your unit out on certain platforms. On the other hand, for long-term rental, right, it's different. So when people come and inquire, when they sign a contract, it will be directly 1 year or 2 years. So the risk of fluctuating in terms of occupancy will be different. Talking about the maintenance as well, for Airbnb products, right, the maintenance of Airbnb condo will be slightly higher because different people come in and out. Okay, so they will treat it like maybe a 1 day stay, 2 day stay. So in terms of changing the toiletries, washing the bed sheets and etc., all will have to be done by the owner or the property management company. On the other hand, for long-term rental condo, right, the tenants will be one who is responsible of cleaning the house or maybe washing their own bed sheets, changing some light bulbs here and there, but it will be billed back to the owner. So there are few difference in terms of maintenance-wise. One more thing that I like to mention is between Airbnb products and long-term products, right, something very important will be the exit plan. So just like stocks as well, when we invest in stocks, for example, if we deposit money into this certain platform, when we put in money, it's easy. But when we want to withdraw the money out, it can be difficult for some platforms. Same goes for properties. If you buy into a property, it is easy, but selling it off may be different. So for Airbnb products, generally it will be studios or maybe smaller size unit, which is very difficult to find their buyers. It's slightly more difficult because you are only targeting investors. But on the other hand, for a long-term rental property, right, it can be 2 rooms, 3 rooms, 4 rooms or 5 rooms. Generally, you can target for investors, homestay owners as well who prefer something bigger for family upgrading or etc. So in terms of selling your property, it's better to go for long-term rental units which are slightly bigger as it's easier to sell off. Alright, so that's step 1. You have to choose between Airbnb or long-term rental. You have to decide which one suits you. So step 2 will be pick a location that you're familiar with. Why I say this is because today, for example, if I tell you Bukit Jalil is a very good place to invest in, but personally you are not very familiar with that area, you will not believe it yourself. It's very difficult for you to believe, Bukit Jalil can buy me, Bukit Jalil can rent me. I mean, we will definitely have that kind of mindset. So always pick a location that you're familiar with. For example, if you come up to Klang Valley to KL to work, okay, you have been renting in, say, Cheras. My advice is find Cheras. There are definitely certain locations that fetch higher rentals or are more suitable for Airbnbs. For example, Maluri is one of them. You have to find a location that you're familiar with and you're comfortable with as well. Because you know this inner road sometimes will jam. There are some shortcuts to TRX maybe. There are some shortcuts to your office and etc. All these will make a difference in terms of investing in a property. So step 3 will be checking on your loan eligibility, which is something we call DSR, debt to service ratio. Debt to service ratio, you need to be below 70% or 80%. It depends on which banks that you are planning to get a loan with. So let me give an example. Today, if my salary is 5,000 ringgit, so 5,000 times 70%, the total monthly loan commitment that I can get, including my house, my credit card, my car, and etc., will be 3,500 ringgit per month. So you have to use that to calculate. Let me give you an example. Today, if I have a car, which is 500 ringgit monthly installment, my house, it's actually, that I'm planning to get, monthly installment will be 2,000 ringgit. So the current loan plus my future loan commitment will be 2,500 ringgit. And my salary is 5,000 ringgit. So if you take 2,500 divided by 5,000, my DSR is 50%, which means it's safe for me to buy this property. I am eligible to get this loan. So that's actually one guideline for you to check whether you are eligible to get this loan or not. So if actually you exceed this guideline already, example today, if the house that you want to buy plus your current commitment is actually maybe 85% or 90%, it means that it's actually over your limit. So it's not advisable to go for something that is quite over your budget, I would say. So it's actually a guideline, a rule of thumb to check whether you are eligible to buy that certain property or that asset or not. And the fourth step, which is the most important step, will be comparing the rentals with surrounding completed properties. Example, I were to buy a property, say in Bukit Bintang, and this property itself per square feet wise is around 2,000 ringgit and the price maybe is around 800,000. First of all, I check the price per square feet from this condo and surrounding of it, does it make sense? Is it around the same? Because for a newly launched project, right, generally they are selling you future price, so it will be more expensive one. But if you check, okay, I'm buying for 2,000, the surrounding is maybe 1,008, 1,007. I would say it's fair because you are buying future price. Second thing that you have to look at is the rental. Okay, if today this installment of the house that I'm planning to buy is maybe 4,000 ringgit, okay, and the rental is around 3,500. Does it make sense? You have to check the surrounding properties to tally whether it makes sense or not. So that's one very important step because you're buying a future property. So you have to know this is the best way to gauge whether the property that you're planning to buy is true to value or not. Besides, you have to understand there are new projects and sub-sales, or I would say second-hand property. So new projects, generally the pros will be zero down payment, free furnishings, there are warranties, and etc. But you need to pay progressive interest. But for a sub-sales property, generally you have to pay down payment which is around 16-17% upfront, but you get the certainty. When you say, I know this is a condition of my house, I know this is a view that I'm going to get, I know who are the previous tenants or what is the current maintenance of the house or of the whole building, right? So we have to gauge the different kinds of property that we are planning to get. Is it a new project or is it a sub-sales property? So these are the 4 steps that I would recommend for beginners to get into, which is, first of all, know whether you want Airbnb or long-term rental. Second will be pick the location that you're familiar with. Third will be knowing your loan eligibility. Fourth will be compare the price and rental of the project you're planning to get, the surroundings. I mean, last but not least, my take will be you have to choose a property that has multiple sources of income. Normally, I like to buy properties that are for hybrid purposes. Example, I can do it for Airbnb, I can rent out room by room, I can go for long-term rental as well. Or maybe these 3 ways of investing won't make me lose a lot of money, and maybe the fluctuation in terms of income will be quite minimal. Don't go for holiday homes like Langkawi or Genting or some other areas that just mainly focuses on vacation, because when COVID hits, right, it really will affect our income, and there are a lot of lelong properties that happen during COVID period, all because of they buy vacation properties or holiday homes. Alright, with that, thank you so much. My name is Dylan, and if you like it, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.